School District Board of Directors for August the 8th, 2022 will come to order. Roll call, Dr. Ulmer.
Mr. Allen? Present. Mrs. Calhoun?
Here.
Mrs. Dobler?
Here.
Ms. Edwards?
Here.
Mrs. Grant?
Here.
Mr. Kinley? Here. Mrs. Petrowski?
Here.
Mrs. Semler?
Here.
Mrs. Thomas?
Here.
All present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we have communications. Dr. Enders, anything on that? Or Dr. Dr. Ulmer. Been a long day.
I just wanted to point out again to the board, we have discussed this at a previous meeting about the community eligibility program for food service and qualifying for district-wide free lunch. Our last, and I just pulled this up again today and had the conversation again with nutrition, we're at about 43% free and reduced lunch. So if we would try to qualify through community eligibility, the district would pick up the tab for the other 56, 57% of kids who don't qualify automatically. So the question that I think numerous of us have gotten is, well, how can other districts qualify and we don't? It's because of their initial percentage of kids who qualify. That's how you could qualify above the 40%, but I think those districts that are qualifying around us have a much higher number and are able to significantly reduce the cost of what it would cost to cover the rest of the students. And our conversation today with nutrition, they're gonna calculate it again so that we have an actual number that we can share with you, but suffice it to say, you would be responsible for 56% of the food service bill at the first look of the costs. I just wanted to make sure I pointed that out to the whole board because I've heard it again. Thank you.
President's report, there was an executive session prior to this meeting starting at 5:45 for legal and personal issues. Also on tonight's agenda, under miscellaneous, letter H, we are tabling that item.
I think Mrs. Edwards had a question.
For the upcoming school year, are those forms going to be going out to the families, like when my kids went to school, so then they can fill those forms out?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes, they have to be filled out again this year.
Okay, thank you.
Next, the IU report. Jesse, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Nothing for this evening.
Moving on. Next thing is courtesy of the floor. The courtesy of the floor will be for public comment on agenda items. State your name, address, and agenda item that you would like to address, and you will have 3 minutes. Mr. and Mrs. Helm, since we have tabled that item, will you do the next courtesy of the floor? Are you okay to wait to the end of the meeting since we're not taking any motion?
For what I'm saying, I can defer to the end, that's fine.
Okay.
I don't know about Shelley unless speaking to her.
Shelley Helm, Hyatt Township. The personnel, A.
Oh, sorry. You had H on my thing here.
Oh, no, I probably just put a thing through it.
I just. assumed
Because
that
I
was the
wasn't
same.
sure, I didn't have, my mind's like on
Go ahead.
overdrive. Okay, so safe to say something. Is this anything to do with mandatory reporting? Is this something you can elaborate on what this might be?
So Safe to Say Something is a program that is housed in the Attorney General's office. We are required to provide information to kids on making, it's not mandatory reporting, it's safe schools reporting. So
Well, I know
if there's a
what that is.
suspected issue or kids can make a report. We are required by law to have a team in place to respond to those tips. And this team, based on our Act 93 contract, there are stipends attached to whoever are members of the team.
Okay. I'll have further questions on that. I'll send them to you. Let's go down the list here. Right.
This is a relatively new program. Do you know how long it's been in effect?
Well, I understand all that because I collected information on the SRO
It
program.
probably has
like
been no more than 4 years. But
Yeah.
It's been around that amount.
Okay. Oh geez, look at this. It's a mess. Just work with me here a minute. Oh, the contracted stipends, this would be under
Finance.
personnel as well. The stipends. Could you tell me what Energy Champ and school-wide positive behavior are? Because there are people, what's an Energy Champ?
It's something that came to Jersey Shore through a grant program. And there, you said PPNL, right? PPNL has required
Direct or one of those.
reports that these people do every year.
Okay, so basically we get grants for those. Okay, cool. The 21st century after school staff and stipends, there are like, hold on a minute, 20 some people. Are these divided out among certain buildings?
This 21st century program is the elementary after-school
Oh,
program.
it's just the
It is
elementary,
all grant funded,
entirely grant funded.
highly grant funded.
Okay, do you know how many kids are serviced?
I was gonna say that I know there's 4 groups. I think there's 20. I'd say it's close to 100.
Like close to 100. Okay. Now, follow with me here. So we have close to 100 students. Now, I'm going to go back to the free and reduced lunch. If everybody remembers when Adrienne was here, she used to push for everybody to fill it out, no matter what your income level was, that it would help with all of this sort of stuff with funding. If you remember, anybody here, I know Mary might. Is that something that we don't do anymore?
That is our intention for this year. The problem that has happened the last 2 years because of COVID, the federal program has had everybody free and reduced, so it was like a non-issue. But this year it is an issue, and that is, it'll go out to every student. The goal is we're hoping that parents return it, but you cannot force
Yeah, I
it.
know. Remember, Adrian used to really push on that because, those numbers give us a lot of money in certain different aspects of this whole scheme of things here. I mean, they branch out everywhere. Hold on, there might be one more. All right, there is one more. How about under finance A? Anybody mind explaining what the violent incident insurance is for?
That would be any kind of school threat. If we had to make a claim because of a school threat or a safety incident, that is the insurance coverage that claim would be filed under.
Okay, I'll have questions. Thank you for letting me have a little bit extra.
That ends the first courtesy of the floor. Moving on to personnel. We have the following people for the 22-23 Safe to Say Something contract team. Appoint Florence Weaver to a part-time food service position. Appoint Ashley Schreiber as a full-time special education paraprofessional. Appointment of Holly Schobert as the lunch monitor for Derbyshire Elementary. A letter of resignation from Bambi Bardo, part-time food service employee, and a letter from Carol Christine Smith, our elementary music teacher, and a letter from William Zaruth, our middle school English teacher. The superintendent's performance objectives are attached for this school year. The assistant superintendent's performance objectives are also attached. The 2023 contracted stipends as listed on the attached spreadsheet. These are contracted positions under the teacher's contract. The 22-23 21st century after school program staff. This is totally grant funded, and I think this is our third or fourth year. Third year that we have had that. Amber Miller as a bus driver with Susquehanna Transit. And may I have a motion to include A through L?
So moved.
Do we have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next, we have curriculum and instruction for a CTE supervised program experience course that is attached. This is something that is already happening in our school districts. But as a recommendation from the 339 audit, it has to have credit value to be part of the CTE computations for hours. So something already happening, the only thing we're doing is adding a half a credit for the time that they spend doing that part of their CTE courses, and it's needed for the completers. May I have a motion to include A?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Building and grounds. We are going to solicit bids for the removal of the Johnson House, which is the house across from the track complex behind Showcase at the high school. May I have a motion?
Second.
Oh. Now, this is to solicit bids. That doesn't, it'll come back to us for approval of the bid. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Next will be finance. We have the purchase of the district violent incident insurance. We are going to raise the adult prices by 5 cents to $3,015. This was missed, but to be in compliance, we need to do this with the federal school lunch program. Renew the IXL learning site license for all schools, which is budgeted, and renewal of the Inter1 Cisco SmartNet phone system, which is also licensed, which is also budgeted. These are identified due to a policy that we have that states that anything over 19.4 must be then approved also by the board. And last, an agreement between Lycoming, Clinton CCA and Derbyshire Area School District for purchase of meals, and I'm going to ask Dr. Omer just to give us a summary of what that is.
That is so that they are actually purchasing meals from us for their program. So this is in essence, our food service department selling meals to them for their daily operation, but that allows them to not have to have an approved food service program. They just buy the meals from us.
And this is not the first year,
This is not the first year this has been done before.
so this is ongoing.
What is Lycoming Clinton CCA?
Wait a minute. Let me get a motion, then we can ask questions.
Right.
May I have a motion to include A through E?
Motion.
All right, now who was asking the question?
What is Lycoming Clinton CCA?
That's the acronym for Lycoming Clinton Children and Youth Services. So it's any of their programs that they would have to provide meals during the day in our area, they can come and get them from us and pay us for the meal and don't have to have their own food service program.
So once a day, they just call and say, we need this many meals. We're gonna come pick them up.
I don't know that it happens daily. I think it happens whenever they have a need.
Any other questions?
I have a question on item B. How is, are we required, you say we're required to have this, to raise the prices because of our program?
When they do your program audit every year, they will tell you if the price has to be raised in order to meet the federal school lunch requirements.
So we might expect that the 315 would be similar across other districts. I mean, I understand the increase, but as far as the actual price, is that, do you think that's consistent? Or we would have no
I
way?
would guess it would be pretty close.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I missed the first and second. Filling up my new job. Got it.
Hearing no other questions, all those in favor say aye.
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 Not in favor, like sign. Motion carries. Letter H miscellaneous has been tabled. Moving on to letter I, old business, of which there is none, so we will move to the second courtesy of the floor. This courtesy of the floor will be for public comment of non-agenda items. State your name, address, and identify what you would like to address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Shelley Helm, Pine Township again. I just want to follow up on the finance aid, the district violence incident insurance. Have we had a payout on anything within the last 2 to 3 years?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so this is like something new?
No, it's not new. We've had this insurance before, but when we approved the insurances, I think back in the July meeting, this one wasn't, we didn't have the final policy version from the
Yes,
insurance
I-
company, which is why this one's on the agenda separate from the other ones.
Okay. And then back to personnel DA. That contact team, are any of those on that list counselors?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I think you. Good evening, Steve Helm, Pyatt Township. I was here and I actually signed up to address or discuss item H on your current agenda. And I didn't make it to the last meeting, but my understanding is there was a young lady that was here who has a bus or transportation contract with the school district. And there was some type of an issue where the coordination of that transportation wasn't being met, the needs weren't being met, so her staff was picking that up and she was asking for additional money. Is that, that's my understanding. If I'm off, then you'll have to let me know. And I guess so item H was included, although the attachments aren't here, they are online and they are available. And I believe that it was a suggested amount of $24,000 per year for the 5-year contract, if I'm correct. So that's $120,000 in addition to what the busing contract already is. And my question is, if we hired an assistant superintendent and part of the job description for that assistant superintendent is to pick up those duties, why are we not requiring that person to handle those duties? Why are we paying an additional $120,000 over that 5-year contract needlessly when we have somebody in place and who could pick that up? And I mean, certainly I would suggest, or I could understand if, since the assistant superintendent is new to the district, maybe partnering with that transportation agency until she was able to get her feet under her and be able to manage that from there and absorb that in as part of her wages. And one of the other questions I had regarding that is, why was that not part of the deal, part of the contract negotiation for the transportation contract? Why did it come out separate? And how was it that it became so quickly appointed to the agenda in a 2-week period to give them another $120,000? These things are kind of concerning. Was it even budgeted? Was that amount even budgeted? Was there enough money in the budget to do that? Where's that money come from? If it's an unexpected expense, is there some kind of a pot somewhere that we pull money from? I'm just trying to figure that out. So I'll leave you with this thought. This isn't Shark Tank, folks. You're not investing your money. You're investing this community's money. This community demands that these investments be done wisely, and we are watching. Thank you.
One comment, Steve, and Dr. Ulmer can answer any of those if he would like, but this seems to you like it's been 2 weeks, but this has been ongoing. While Dr. Dady was still here, this had been in conversation. So there's more of a history there, and that's what we're trying to work out and what's the best avenue for us.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Merle Schweitzer, Mifflin Township. I'd like an update on the HVAC project, if you will, at the high school and the middle school. How's that going?
Really well. All exhaust fan, I think I said the last time you asked, all the exhaust fans are installed. All the boilers are here and being installed. Rooftop units are all here as of today. The last of them showed up, so they are moving along well.
What areas are you putting the unit ventilators? And what building are you putting unit ventilators?
High school is where they use some of all the unit ventilators that are being replaced are high school.
And there's how many of those? I forgot.
10.
12, 10?
10, I believe. 10 or 12. Somewhere in that ballpark, I think.
So all the boilers have been removed, and the new boilers are here to be in place. I understand though there's about a 3-week delay on the concrete. If you have to pour concrete slabs, is that going to have, what effect will that have?
You're the first person that said that to me, so I'm not sure what
Okay.
you're talking about.
Well, concrete has to, you pour it, I understand it has to cure 2 to 3 weeks before you can place anything on it. Bert Francis knows a little bit about that. But other than that, it sounds like it's moving along. It's moving along real good. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I hadn't planned on, but I'm gonna hitchhike on Merrill just for a second. Bert Francis, 1425. He and I have been nosing in on the new boilers and everything. I'm an old construction guy and he's an old building and grounds guy, and we've been kind of following that project pretty close. And when he mentioned whereof in middle school and boiler room and so on, boilers are raised up on a thin concrete slab. Keep them up in case of flooding and this, that, and the other thing. Or whatever. So I guess we heard through the grapevine or whatever that they had to place the pads at the senior high. Pads are in down at the elementary school. But when you place concrete like that for what they're going to be used for, you got a 7-day and 28-day test to be sure that the concrete comes up to a specified compression strength of 2,800, 3,000 PI, 3,500 PSI. These are pretty heavy boilers, so I suppose it'd be up around 3,500 PSI. So you got a 7-day test and 28 test, and that protects us buyers. So that's my information on that last subject. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others for courtesy of the floor? Seeing or hearing none, we will close courtesy of the floor. Okay, it's an executive session. We do not need a formal executive session at this time. So may I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Meeting is adjourned. There will be an informational meeting. I need about 10 minutes.